Alright, welcome. Nice to have you here. We're talking about the news. First up, we have a humanitarian crisis and global emergencies. There was an earthquake in Afghanistan and a landslide in Sudan. Devastating 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck Afghanistan and it killed 2,200 people. Whoa. And destroyed 98% of homes in the area. It's left hundreds of thousands homeless, and it has been a severe challenge for rescue operations. Brutal. Afghanistan cannot catch a break. USA pulls out, so we're not there. I wonder what kind of support is being offered to them. But that's unfortunate. I wonder, it's the Taliban in charge of Afghanistan right now, is that correct? So the Taliban is dealing with this earthquake. They have to, how's the Taliban fix this situation? By, saying that God did it? Which I don't think would really help their case. Is from that perspective, is it that God is punishing Afghanistan for, if you're looking not being in alignment with the states anymore? Brutal. It's a good thing it's probably definitely not human caused or anything, right? Because people don't cause earthquakes. It's just because of global warming, which I guess people do cause, but it's not like anybody controls the weather or anything and is causing earthquakes in Afghanistan, decimating areas. I wonder how much culture and history is lost after an earthquake like this. No, we're just asking questions, you know what I mean? Just a little curious, I wonder if there's anything to investigate there. Probably a good current events report topic, something to kill an hour or two reading about. Not me though. I just like knowing that it happened. At the same time, Sudan's Darfur region. Oh, sorry, it was Afghanistan's Kunar province, and now we're looking at Sudan's Darfur region, which had a landslide and it obliterated the village of Tarasin, killing over 1,000, deepening an already dire humanitarian crisis caused by civil war, famine, and disease. Okay, Middle East cannot catch a break. Alright. Well, something to look into. Maybe there is a way to donate if you wanted to. You could look that up. See if there's any help that can be done. Or something to read about. Okay, moving on to geopolitical tensions and conflicts. I've got one thing here for us. What we've got is Russia is intensifying its assault on Ukraine. So that does not sound like they are calming it down. It sounds like intensifying would mean the opposite of that. So I would say that's not the direction that we want to be moving in. After returning from a diplomatic visit to Beijing, President Putin launched the biggest aerial assault on Ukraine since the war began in 2022. Oh, so he goes and visits Beijing. And what does that mean? That he and China are getting close? So let's see. They did airstrikes on Kyiv. I heard it all the different ways, but strikes on Kyiv's government buildings, that's a major escalation in this conflict. So that's a move. Everything does seem to be escalating. That's why intensify, escalate, bold. It seems like we're only talking about more war, not less. So that's unfortunate, especially considering we are supposed to have a no new wars president, and that this was supposed to be over day one. But hey, I'm not criticizing anybody here. Certainly better than the other guy, right? So It actually is, but his visit also reinforced closer ties with China and North Korea, so through emerging energy deals and strategic alignment. Cool. World War III, China, North Korea, Russia versus United States, Israel, and the Ukraine. No, wow. Okay, in the comments down below, tell me who like the good guys are. Like what country on this planet is left to idolize anymore? And who do you what's the current contender? What are we thinking for World War III? Which side are you on? Which side should I be on? I would love to know down below. Political unrest and shocks in Asia and Europe. Japan is in political turmoil. Yeah, that's right. I think we talked about this earlier. The Prime Minister resigned abruptly. Or is this just happening now, actually? Oh my gosh, it is. Amid internal party dissent, triggering uncertainty. This move caused the yen to drop 0.7%. And the Japanese bond yields to spike to record highs. Okay. Prime Minister in France faces a no-confidence motion over controversial fiscal reforms, raising the specter of heightened far-right influences if his government falls. All right. So France, which way is France gonna go in World War III, dude? Are we gonna be eating freedom fries again, or is it gonna be like Viva la Resistance or whatever? Interesting. A far-right France. That does not sound nice. Israel and U.S. South Korea developments. A fatal shooting in Jerusalem left 4 dead. Meanwhile, South Korea Hyundai workers in Georgia were caught in the U.S. immigration raids, but are set to be repatriated, with authorities promising more workspace inspections ahead. I don't know why it linked those two things together, but okay. Little bit silly that the Koreans are being busted for immigration with Hyundai workers, which I believe would be Hispanic. So you have Mexican illegal immigrants working in a South Korean Hyundai car factory in Georgia being raided by ICE. I don't know what the joke is there, but there is one. Kind of a little bit of a Mexican... Okay, it just cut off there. I think the machine elves in my computer just stopped my recording. So, but it sounds like what I was saying: a Korean guy, a Mexican guy, and a black guy all walk into a Georgia Hyundai car factory, and the ICE patrol guard asks, "Where are your papers?" And the Korean guy hands him the deed to the factory, and the black guy hands him his EBT information, and the and the Mexican guy hands him his tax return, and the ICE agent says, "You're all free to go." Okay, all right, moving on. Economy and markets on edge. Bond market volatility, blah, blah, blah. Long-term bond yields surge globally. U.S. 30-year treasuries hit 5%. Japan's equivalent climbed to a record 3.29%, and UK soared to around 5.7%, spurring investor anxiety over debt sustainability and inflation. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey sought to claim markets, stressing central bank independence amid political scrutiny. Yes, central banking independence, that's what we need. That's right, we love the central bank, IMF. Yum, yum. U.S. economic signals, weak job growth and cooling job openings in August, heightened expectations for Federal Reserve interest rate cuts in September and beyond. Social movements and labor actions. London tube strikes disrupt city life. On September 5th, a 6-day strike by the RMT union targeted most London Underground lines, with exceptions like the Elizabeth line, crippling services and straining alternative transport options. Downing Street called for renewed negotiation amid growing commuter frustration. Dude, get it together. People got to go to work. RMT union. Getting rowdy out there. So here's just a little commentary about all of these, I guess. The humanity on edge, the overlapping Dude, when I was in English class in high school, catastrophe was a word I had to say for speech that I had to present and give, and I fumbled it. I completely fumbled. Catastrophe. I'm nailing it right now. Catastrophe. But I had some sort of mental blockage that I couldn't say it, and I just tripped over that again, and now I'm having PTSD, MK Ultra, like, torture, Project Monarch, Project MK Naomi, what do the numbers mean, Mason, sort of flashbacks right now. Because I almost just whiffed catastrophes. But that's all I needed to get out. That's all I needed to say there. Returning back to the news, the overlapping catastrophes in Afghanistan and Sudan illustrate how climate disasters and conflict converge to produce unparalleled human suffering. Ouch time. Exactly. That's exactly correct. It's not going well right now. Anywhere. At least if you're paying attention to the news, which you shouldn't be doing. After this, you should go open a window and look outside and look for something beautiful today. Comment down below, what's something beautiful in your life today? I'm looking for answers like the flowers, or the sky, or nothing is beautiful in my life. I can't find the beauty anywhere, so I had to look inward and find an inner beauty I didn't even know that existed inside of my own soul. That's what I'm looking for in the comments section down below today is beauty. Okay, global order in flux, from Putin's intensified aggression and Japan's instability to France's parliamentary challenges. Established political and geopolitical landscapes appearing increasingly volatile. Yes, volatile. Intensified aggressions, escalations in strikes on the Ukraine. Yes, all of this is the type of phrasing and wording that I've been hearing about more and more. It seems like it's not turning down, but cranking up. Economic fragility, bond market turmoil, and shifting monetary expectations underscore global concerns over debt and liquidity, with consequences for households and governments alike. And then daily life disruption. London strike. London subways falling down. London subways falling down. My dear immigration. Except it sounded like it was a union. My dear RMT union. Okay, the London strike highlights how labor disputes. Man, these laborers are always disputed. It's like, don't you get paid enough already? Oh, wait, you don't. That's exactly why. Okay, though localized, can ripple outward, affecting millions, raising cost of living pressures, and straining trust in institutions. That's crazy how it's like, yeah, those laborers are disputing, and it can ripple outward, affecting millions, raising cost of living pressures on everybody else, and straining trust in institutions. Why don't you just shut up and not get paid a lot of money that you deserve, you greedy laborers? Okay, well, those are the news headlines from today, from this last week that I collected. How about you? What do you think is more important to cover? Are you involved in culture war stuff? Is there more entertaining, more up-to-date, more pertinent? Is that a good word? Pertinent? If you can define pertinent, I want you to subscribe and like, because you are a high IQ individual, unlike those silly rascals, whichever ones you think I'm talking about. yeah, subscribe and or don't. I mean, really, if you're listening to this me rambling, things are already like dire enough that it's just kind of you're cooked already. So you might as well subscribe, I guess. In that case, you know, while you're here, hit the subscribe button. But that's the news. That's the news. Thanks for watching. I know it's another news episode, but we're just trying stuff out. We're figuring it out. We're learning. I'm learning. How do we turn this thing off? All right, thanks.